Among the weapons in the U.S. Army's arsenal, none epitomizes the service the way the heavily armored AH-64 Apache attack helicopter does. The Apache has proven equally adept in the Middle East, Central Asia, Africa, and elsewhere, and has a proven track record of fighting wide-ranging foes from guerrillas to main battle tanks. Being the most successful attack helicopter of all time, the Apache is as adroit and lethal as the Army itself thanks to a slew of steady upgrades. Here's what makes it so incredibly badass. In the late 1960s, the U.S. Army fielded its first attack helicopter, the AH-1 Cobra. Developed from the UH-1 Huey as an armed helicopter escort and close air support platform, the Cobra was highly effective in the jungles of Vietnam, but suffered from its own limitations. The Cobra had only a single engine, a shortcoming that limited its payload and operating altitude, and lacked redundancy if enemy fire damaged the engine. The Cobra also lacked a long-range sighting system and equally long-range weapons, forcing the crew to get in close and strafe enemy targets, exposing the pilot and crew to anti-aircraft gunfire. In the 1970s, with Vietnam in the rear-view window, the Army decided it needed a new attack helicopter, one designed from the ground up to deliver ordnance against ground targets. The Army's attention had been reoriented toward defending Western Europe from the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact, which maintained more than 45,000 tanks on NATO's doorstep. If it came to war, NATO would be outnumbered, and a flying tank killer would go a long way toward blunting an enemy attack. The Army, which had begun fitting TOW anti-tank missiles on Cobra helicopters to destroy Soviet tanks, also wanted a new long-range missile as the helicopter's primary armament, one that could turn tanks like the T-62 and T-72 into piles of scrap from outside the range of enemy air defense guns. Stung by the loss of more than 5,000 helicopters during the Vietnam War, the Army also wanted an attack helicopter that could survive in a lethal air defense environment. The armies of the Soviet Union and its allies would protect their advancing tank columns with handheld surface-to-air missiles like the SA-14 shoulder-fired missile, the ZSU-23-4 Shilka, a tracked armored vehicle equipped with 4 radar-controlled 23mm rapid-fire cannons, and the 9K-33 OSA surface-to-air missile system. An armored cabin, blades, and 2 engines for redundancy were considered essential upgrades for any second-generation attack helo. Chosen in 1976 as the winner of the Army's Advanced Attack Helicopter program, the AH-64 Apache entered service in 1985. The spindly, insectoid Apache looked like it was moving even while sitting still on the tarmac. The helicopter was powered by 2 GT700 turboshaft engines, each generating up to 1,695 shaft horsepower, giving the aircraft a top speed of 189 miles per hour. The 4-bladed main rotor can be folded for transport in C-17 and C-5 transport aircraft. The Apache's killer app, the key capability that made it indispensable on the battlefield, was its ability to fire the new AGM-114 Hellfire missile, a laser-guided anti-tank missile with a range of 8 kilometers, or more than double the range of the older TOW missile. The Apache could carry up to 16 Hellfires at once, and a single helicopter could theoretically destroy an entire company of 10 Soviet tanks, all while staying out of range of enemy air defenses. Alternatively, the Apache could carry 8 Hellfires in 2 pods of 19 Hydra 70mm unguided rockets, effective against dismounted infantry or light armored vehicles, or 4 pods of Hydra 70 rockets. The Apache's only built-in weapon is the M320 chain gun. This single-barrel 30mm aircraft cannon fires 8-ounce shells at a rate of 625 rounds per minute. The high-explosive, dual-purpose projectiles are designed to decimate enemy troops, soft-skinned vehicles like trucks and jeeps, and even light armored vehicles like the BTR-70 armored personnel carrier. A complex aiming system known as the Target Acquisition and Designation Sight allows the aircrew to aim the weapon at a target by merely pointing his or her head at it. The Apache was one of the first weapon systems to include forward-looking infrared night vision. The Target Acquisition and Designation Site/Pilot's Night Vision Sensor, TADS/PNVS, allowed Apache pilots to target the enemy at night, or in daytime locate armored vehicles in brush or other cover that were running their engines, producing a hot thermal signature. This also allowed Apache crews to see through battlefield smoke and smokescreens, even Warsaw Pact smokescreens, taking away a major advantage from an advancing enemy force.